Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out Metal Tales Overkill. This game is developed and published by Zera Ono Games and will release on April 22nd, 2022. Unfortunately, we don't quite yet have a price for the game, but I'm going to talk about it, let you know what I think a good price point could be at, and kind of give you my opinions. This is a shoot 'em up style game, but it's not like a normal shmup, it's more of like a twin stick shooter, so kind of a weird bit of a classification. But the way the game works is it's kind of like a metal punk band showcase of a game where you're going to end up playing all these levels and fighting all these bosses that just showcase a bunch of like different metal shredding like music bands, and their music is kind of just like a showcase throughout the game while you're playing. And the game itself is honestly super simplistic. We'll dive into a game here and kind of show you. You've got a couple different characters you can select. The different things that you select really don't do a heck of a lot. You can also unlock additional characters for progressing further in the game. The game starts out with this like comic book style interactive narrative here that you can kind of try to understand a little bit of a story, and then there's these cool like comic book esque visual intros between boss fights. But that's really the only bit of things that you're gonna see in the game. The game works a lot more like a dungeon crawler to me, where you're gonna go into one room, clear out all the enemies, move to another room, clear out all the enemies, and rinse and repeat on different levels, trying to get to the boss and ultimately kill the boss. Control wise, the game is super simplistic. You'll move around with your left stick, aim with your right stick, and use your trigger or B button to shoot. You're going to be able to pick up various types of guitars that'll shoot different, kind of spreads and patterns when it comes to how the bullets interact and work, as well as opportunities to pick up grenade like objects to be able to fight and attack the enemies. Now, when it comes to the gameplay for this game, it doesn't do a really good job of really teaching you how to play it. Although it's pretty straightforward, like I said, you just run around here, whatever direction you're pointing at and holding down the shoot button, your guy's gonna run. And basically, you just have to hit all the enemies once for them to die out. And a lot of the enemies are just gonna have varying patterns. And most of them are pretty straightforward and super easy to do. If you look in the top right of your screen, you'll see like a little dungeon mini map that tells you what doors you can go through. So if you haven't been to an area, you can start to clear out new zones. There's usually going to be one area on every level that will have a shop between bosses, an area where you can try to pick up like special loot, chances at just different little things, and then some bigger rooms throughout there. Most enemies become one shots, but you're going to have opportunities to where you're going to have some bosses and stuff that might be a little challenging, but to be honest, they're all super simple. To beat the game, you will have to end up dying a bunch, collecting a bunch of coins, and buying a bunch of things here from the shop. To buy things from the shop, once you have coins, you just walk over the items. They don't really describe what the items do until you buy them, so it's kind of a, if you haven't gotten it before on a prior playthrough or a different character run, kind of good luck scenario for you. You can try to get these little health pickups, and like I said, this is one of those like little bonus rooms where this just like multiplies your shots. You can get various little upgrades and increasing things to help better your guy. But for the most part, the game is extremely straightforward, and a lot of the bosses in the game die way too easily. You're not really going to be challenged by really anything while you're playing the game. It's going to be very, very easy to go through and almost feel like you're one-shotting most of the bosses. We'll head up and beat this first boss here in just a second. You can kind of see what I'm talking about, but generally most of the bosses, they have health bars, but it doesn't really matter because, as you can see here, this will be kind of a little cutscene. Once we actually start fighting this boss, once you hit him 2 or 3 times, he just dies. You'll encounter different bosses a little bit based on when you're playing, so you might not get the same boss every time, and that could help you get different achievements. On my playthrough with my main account, most of the bosses and enemies were just dying pretty straightforward. You'll be able to see that gameplay video uploaded on the channel probably here in a couple days. It looks like the game might just have adjusted weird difficulties. You've also got opportunities for varying upgrades that you can get. So if you can complete things, you can kind of up yourself and make your guy better, and buy different upgrades while you're playing, just to kind of make things a little easier for you. And then you can kind of just rinse and repeat and try to get as far as you can in the game. Overall, I think the art style is kind of cool. It's very like punk rockish, metal heavy themed, and really fits the style of what the game's going for. Soundtrack wise, it's just a bunch of cool music and soundtracks being played while you're playing, and artists that are getting featured. Like I said, a lot. You can learn more in this like extras era. I do like the game. The game features a co-op mode, but unfortunately, that mode is only local co-op. So you can't really play it with a friend, unfortunately. And in the options, you can do some customization stuff. Now, weirdly enough, every time I've booted this game up on a new account, there's no audio whatsoever. All the default audio settings for this game have everything turned off or completely down. So if you do boot the game up for the first time and are like, what the heck's going on? Make sure you go to options and sound and crank up your volume so that way you can continue playing more. Outside of that, though, as far as like a good price point, I think for this game, I think anywhere between the $5 to $15 price point range would be a good kind of go for this game. I definitely have had some fun and enjoyed playing it. It's kind of more like a little bit of a novelty, but not a novelty, so to speak. But it's been enjoyable and fun to play, so I definitely recommend picking it up as far as buy, sell, or pass. I think it's worth buying. The achievements aren't overly difficult. It looks like there's a chance that a couple of them may need to get worked on. I know there's a couple content creators that have played the game already early, and some of the achievements aren't unlocking, so not sure if that's something that needs to be fixed or just none of us have figured out really how to do them. But yeah, outside of that, I hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you have any questions or want to know more about the game, please let me know down below in the comments. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you did enjoy the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you want to pick up the game, go check out the Xbox Game Store. It should be available now. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.